Many Marines of the old breed, as new Marines would call them, are stuck in their ways once they retire from the Corps. They and many other people throughout the country and military have been very skeptical of many of the changes that the military has underwent in the past few years. Many important laws have been put in place to allow for the U.S. military to have more equal opportunity for people, no matter their demographic, such as allowing gay and transgender people to serve openly in the armed forces. One of the biggest criticisms for the new military has been from when the combat exclusion policy, banning women from combat jobs and dating back to the Women's Armed Forces Integration Act of 1948, was lifted on January 24, 2013. The Marine Corps, incidentally, were the only service branch to request the ability to make the exceptions to the new rule. It is a good thing to our society to allow women to fight in more combat roles than ever before. Women deserve equal opportunity, can be just as capable as men, and will make the military more efficient in the long run. Many of the detractors' main arguments come from the studies that have shown that women are at a disadvantage in combat due to the physical differences between men and women. This is mostly due to studies showing that females exhibit about only 52% of men's upper body strength, according to Gino Cavallaro. This could be attributed to smaller muscles and a higher concentration of fatty tissues in the top half of the female body. While this truth is undeniable, there are still many benefits of allowing women to serve in combat jobs. Units with more women have a less likelihood of disciplinary problems, as seen previously in aviation and logistics fields, said by Kovac. Women also bested men in flexibility, balance, and biomechanically. Research by Brigadier General George Smith, Director of the Marine Corps Force Innovation Office, written in a 14-page memorandum and submitted to the Commandant, also found that women also bested men in their ability to maintain athletic ability and in 50 caliber machine gun marksmanship. The study also showed that including women resulted in equal or better performance in cognitively challenging problems compared to all male groups. Unit cohesion was reported as medium to good after training in mixed gender units in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, including a third of men and women saying it was excellent. Other findings in the general's research stated that in terms of fitness, that female injury rates are similar or the same as male injury rates. And due to the popularity of weightlifting as a socially acceptable activity for females to participate in, the physical abilities of women have increased as well. The Marines' assessment stated that female Marines were capable of performing the physically demanding task, just not at the same level as their male counterparts. The female troops used in the study were above average to well above average amongst their peers in the Corps, whereas the men were simply average. This was also quite significant in the heavy weapons platoons, like machine guns and mortars, where mixed units in the study fell quite short of all male units when tasked with hiking at a speed of 4 kilometers per hour. Another note in the Marine report is that the height and weight standards for female troops that exclude larger women who are more likely to succeed in infantry. The body mass index for females is 25, more strict than the males' 27.5, which appears to be counterproductive, the report states from General Smith. Size matters often in the military, and men have the upper hand over most women when it comes to carrying heavy objects, such as mortars and machine guns, simply due to their larger frame in these studies. If large women were allowed in these, I think that the statistics might look a little different. Using this knowledge, the military can skillfully implement women into the combat arms. Physiologically, women would not be as successful in a heavy weapons platoon. This does not mean that women wouldn't make just as good infantrymen, though. Instead of being placed in the weapons platoons, women can be placed predominantly in rifle platoons, where they will not have to carry as much of a load. An unwavering adherence to high standards will be the primary driver in overcoming gender bias through clearly demonstrated performance standards, which is fundamental to a cohesive unit with high morale, says the report from General Smith. 3 women graduated from Army Ranger training in Fort Benning, Georgia in October 2015. This test represented a trial balloon for DoD leaders who were at the time considering a change to department policies which prevented women from serving in combat arms, according to Moore. Thus, they proved the detractors wrong. Not all women are capable of surviving in a combat arms role. Only 3 of the original 19 women in that Ranger class passed, but that doesn't mean that all women can't take up the challenge and succeed. Fewer than 7% of Marines are females. Thus, overall impact on unit readiness will be buffered by the dominant numbers of male Marines, and should not show significant difference in ability to perform the mission of closing with and destroying the enemy with fire and maneuver. Brigadier General Smith stated that female Marines have had more combat experience than any service woman in the world, receiving 422 combat actions ribbons alone in service in Iraq and Afghanistan. This is something that we as a country should be proud of and be proof enough that women can be just as deadly as men in times of need. Marines of old will always be wary of the state of the military and Marine Corps after them, just like the salt dogs before them. But I think that time will show that women will fight just as bravely as men in these positions.